What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Bree.
I'm playing. It's your boy, Q. And it's another episode of Resilient Love. Come on in.
Come on in. And you know what? We're going to be talking about our North Carolina friend. We're going to call her that. Our auntie, Tabitha Brown and Mr. Chance Brown. Because, as you all have seen in the media, Wendy Williams made some commentary about the choice that they publicly shared about Chance leaving, Los Angeles PD, correct?
Yeah, LAPD.
And now Chance will go forward in his dream, as Tabitha calls it. She wants her husband to dream again. And I want to start right there. How many of you all have stopped dreaming? I let this episode be a reminder to dream again.
And it hits a point. Most of us, the largest part of America stops dreaming by at least 18. And starts working and never picks back up the dream.
Did y'all catch Mr. Baker? Because that just hit me. When we were younger, all of us, when we were younger growing up, when you were in pre-K, you can't tell me your teacher didn't do this because I used to do this. You would have a center where you dressed up. Mm-hmm. And you dressed up as a police officer, a princess, a doctor. You dressed up.
That's when people really cared and loved on kids, because we grew up in an era where teachers went the extra mile and treated you like you were in their home. They brung out professionals from the community and had career day.
And that's what's missing. And a lot of times, I mean, they're keeping it around, but the pandemic has really affected that. But we're going to get back to that. We're going to get back to that. Today's episode, guys, is about covering your marriage. Mm-hmm. And do not allow people to infiltrate. And guess what? If you're in a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship, this is the same. Because you have to start off somewhere before you get married. You have to start off dating, engaged, and then marry, right? So we're going to just give you a short recap. Miss Wendy Williams, as you all may or may not know, she's a commentator. She's a publicity or personality, as they call it. And so this particular episode of her show, she shares about her opinion on the Brown family. And she just basically said, because Chance will no longer be working a traditional 9-to-5, their marriage is going to be rocky. That's the short version, but go check our description to see the full episode. But that's the short version of what Wendy said. But here's what Tab came back and said. God bless you. And when we start off with God bless you, I'm saying God bless you, but that's also a little cut. God need to bless you with the right mind, because your mind ain't right about how you just said that about my family. But what Tab really said, this is the short version. We've been married 23 years. We have been in a low place. We've been in a broke place. We've been in a rough patch. So we know what it's like to go through the fire together. He has covered me in this season. And guess what? We had an agreement that when I got to that place, I will retire my husband. That's what she said. I will retire my husband. And that day finally came 15 years later. And he is now no longer an employee of LAPD. But now he's fully walking in his dream. What you got to say to that, Q?
I'm so proud of them.
I'm so proud of you.
I could get stuck on Wendy first, but not important.
Not important.
So I'm so proud of them. First of all, they North Carolina natives.
Yes.
They give you Cosby, Different World, Fresh Prince, those back in the day positive black images.
There you go.
Black love at its best.
At its best.
Jet magazine.
Yes.
See, And I respect and love them for what they do. They stay consistent to who they are, and they do not put on a show for other people. And I say to Chance, from another black man to another black man, dream as hard as you can, just as hard as you work. Because oftentimes we don't dream as hard as we work.
Lord have mercy.
And to Tabitha.
Like so, like that.
Like so, like that. We need to take a note from that teacher that taught us this lesson in how you respond.
Come on.
Because nothing could. See, I always say that, and that's why I try to maintain my composure. Because nothing could.
Like a smile.
No, nothing could. Like an emotional, intelligent, intellectual person to correct you and still pray for you and say bless you.
Come on.
Because
it confuses the enemy.
Right. You gotta know how to fight. Your fight gotta look different than the enemy. If it looked the same, you won't win.
All right.
She could have went the route, and I'm not trying to go there. That's her personal business. But she has had her issues in the last year or two.
With Wendy Williams.
Wendy's had her issue with family. I don't like to bash nobody's family. That's personal. That's personal, business.
Right.
But do know when you open that door, just be glad enough that this person was a messenger.
To say, don't touch that.
Right. Because you still can get this North Carolina the other way. I'm giving you the
Come
first
on and
part.
raise up. Take your shirt off.
I will stop cooking and use this pan.
All right, hot grits 101.
So, I just like the way that she broke it down. And also, you know, people, I think even when we got married, you go through stages in marriage. I know for us, the first one was, it's like the people test, the society. You know, everybody got their own thoughts. At some point, you have to learn how to block that out because it doesn't matter. When you go home, it don't matter. When you flip the switch, it don't matter because they ain't pay the bill. Everything you do don't matter.
To the public.
It matters to them. They're paying attention. Even if they don't say nothing. They talking in circles.
There you go.
But at the end of the day, we make this work.
Right.
We make this work, not you. You haven't paid a bill. You haven't sent the gift card. You haven't did nothing. So your opinion, your thoughts don't matter. And definitely, when you talk about this covenant, you don't know what. The way that pact.
Right.
They know what they said. It's just like your vows.
Hey!
I don't need society to know. And now that I'm thinking about it, we didn't never read our vows, but we did in private. And I'm glad we did. Because it ain't everybody's business.
Right.
We know what we committed to.
Right.
We know what we said. Everything ain't for public display. I let you know as much as I want to.
Right. And see, Tab didn't share every single moment. But she said she did in her book. And her book is coming out, y'all. We're going to put the link in the description so you can pre-order. But here's the thing. As Quentin mentioned, which he said it so well, your vows is just like whatever agreement. Your vows is an agreement. So what you and your husband or spouse said at that altar or at that location, you said it in a spirit of, I am committed to you. I am committed to the challenge. I am committed to the ups and the downs. Chance was committed to being the 9 to 5 while she was the dreamer. And she said, in this season, it's time to switch.
But let me back that up too.
Go ahead.
I'm just gonna cut. I like to do courtroom style.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna chop you down before you even have a chance to breathe.
Mm-hmm.
What I'll say to the dreamer, yes, he was working a 9 to 5. And she was a dreamer. But here's the thing, the dreamer still worked too.
Okay.
It just looked different.
Break it down.
The dreamer works too because they working on the dream for one.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, they doing side hustles at the same time. I've never met a dreamer that wasn't a true dreamer that was trying to go get it and didn't have a side hustle.
Come on, Q.
Or side hustles.
Plural.
With an S.
Plural.
I mean, I grew up the side hustle kid.
Side hustle pro. You need to look at her podcast.
I mean, cutting grass. You do what you got to do to make ends meet.
That's right.
And as long as it's legal, just, and you can sleep at night,
hey,
I wouldn't care what nobody say.
Go ahead.
You know where you can go.
Out the door. So don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. But you know, that's the North Carolina in us. But you know, I sincerely just respect it, because I even heard somebody mention, and we love Reed. Mm-hmm. But he did mention, she didn't have to do all that. She didn't have to say all that. And with all due respect, mm-hmm. there are some moments where you can't stay silent.
Well, but also, I mean, preference. At the end of the day, preference. We don't have to be talking about this right now. We don't have to do all this. But we doing it. Preference. I am doing it because I want to honor the people that look like us. Mm-hmm. That's striving hard to change the trajectory, to change the image, to change the face, to change this stereotype of who we are
as African Americans,
right? Black
folk.
So I'm gonna always
go hard. Yeah, and that's true. But I just want to say, the reason why I even bring that point up is because, as you mentioned, that's true. Every time you hear a commentator, you hear a podcast, you read a blog, it's preference to even speak on that matter.
And that's where, in this country, we need to get comfortable with, as a country,
freedom of speech.
Which they starting to limit it. I'm not gonna get into that, but
that's another podcast.
Right, that's another podcast for another day. But we have gotten to a place where we can't hear each other out. Not saying that's totally different.
That's totally different, but yeah.
But I can not agree with you.
And still respect you.
But we can still finish lunch. We ain't got to cuss each other out. We ain't got to just stop talking. We have gotten this thing twisted where we don't agree on this. We fall out. That don't make sense.
And you see, and when you take that point Quentin just mentioned, think about Tab and Wendy. They have never really crossed paths, to my knowledge. Yeah. That was her first actual interaction with Wendy, even though it was virtual, it was via her other platform. But my point is, I bet if Tab saw Wendy tomorrow, hey, Wendy. Because the reality is, yes, Wendy gave her commentary. Yes, Tab addressed it with her own personal 2 cents. But at the end of the day, the maturity level, we just going to hit on that briefly. The maturity level of women, I got to speak on women right now, has to be higher. Mm-hmm. Again, the topic is protecting your marriage and speaking on the matter. Because we have a book out, Confronting the Conflict and Settle the Matter. You guys go check it out. The link is in the description. But we talk about women and relationships and being able to address things respectfully. You know, that's that new term now. I don't like you, respectfully. Like, no. Be honest and say, you know, I don't as people say, that's not my cup of tea. Well, guess what? I had some coffee today I didn't like. But did I go and make a scene at Panera Bread? I just threw the coffee away.
Woo! While we talking about that, I didn't like the price that came up, and it didn't match. Make it make sense. It didn't make not damn bit of sense. I mean, it was fair. We ate.
Amen. But that's what I'm saying. When you don't like something, you don't have to make a scene.
Yeah.
You don't have to go. I don't have to get on social media and bash Panera Bread. I did not like your coffee. Just accept that. Just like if I was Tabitha, I'm not Tabitha, but if I was Tabitha, it's like, okay, I addressed you. You addressed my situation publicly. I addressed you publicly. Now, that's it.
Now, dude.
There's no more.
Yeah.
We're done.
And just understand that if we're not advocating for you just to keep getting stepped on or just keep paying your money, when you pay your money, sometimes you should have a level of discernment. Sometimes it's not even worth it.
It's not worth it. So now, so just to close out that topic, I won't be going to Panera Bread for coffee. But
there's other things
on the menu. I don't have to go for coffee. And that's the thing. Out of all the things on...
You can't get mad when you try something new.
Yeah. And out of all the things that's on Wendy Williams' menu, she chose Tabitha Brown.
But... and I wasn't going to go there until you said it, but she is her proper title, I think, if I'm not mistaken, is a radio...
personality.
TV personality.
Right.
Both. So... But listen, look at her over the years. Look at what she puts out. It matches.
It match.
If you could sleep with what you do at night, go
Amen.
ahead on about your business.
Had the most amazing day.
But don't bother me. This ain't what you want.
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 This ain't that street you used to. I'm going to take you down another street before we get to the one you used to.
Correct. It's funny. But, at the end of the day, we just wanted to share about Tab and Chance and just honor them, as Quentin mentioned.
I mean...
Because it's just amazing to see a couple that...
She did.
Got it out the mud.
Got it out the mud. And to close it out,
yeah,
because I know we keep going, but it's just when you got an amazing group of people,
you gotta shout them out.
You can talk, and you could talk, and that's a good thing. But she did a phenomenal thing that I don't see that often, and she publicized it. We publicize a lot of stuff, but do we publicize the stuff that should be publicized so it can help somebody else to understand? She paid homage to her father. She didn't have to do it. Mm-hmm. But she came home and bought him a brand new truck. Knew he ain't never had. That right there did it for me. Like, to pay homage, it's not even about the truck. It's not even about the material things. I didn't forget you. I made a pact with myself for you when you didn't even think.
That's deep. The same pact she made with her husband, she made with herself for her daddy. To honor. That's if y'all don't get nothing else.
That's how you stay successful.
When you pay honor.
When
give
you pay
honor
your honor.
where honor is due.
Yeah.
So we give honor to Tab and Chance. And we just thank them for being a public example. We got some private examples. But we thank them for being a public example that we can just highlight with you all. And if they ever come across this episode, we love you guys.
All the way back from North Carolina.
We love you. So with that being said, and you probably heard all that noise outside.
We in North Carolina.
Where the players play. But at the end of the day, Quentin and I will be celebrating 2 years. Although Tab and Chance got 23, we are celebrating our 2 years on July 6th. And so...
two going on 23.
Times 2. And so we just appreciate you all for listening. And if you want to just bless us for our anniversary, We'll drop our cash apps in the description box. Again, have a great holiday weekend, and we'll see you in the next one.
All right. Be
Bye.
safe. Bye-bye.